Good evening, everyone. This is Prakash Shah from Bulwark Technologies. We are basically, representing Bulwark Technologies. We are headquartered of Dubai and we are based out of Bangalore in India. We work through our partner ecosystem, being a value-added distributor. Our key space is to be in the cybersecurity space, and so we are providing solutions to a value-added partner ecosystem to enterprise customers. And our portfolio is on the cybersecurity solutions. Bulwark Technologies is basically established in the year 1999, so we are close to about 25 years in the market, and we have have our expertise in terms of solutions of cybersecurity. Today, we are going to be able to, as the slide suggests, that 23 years in the cybersecurity space, we have the cutting edge technology vendors that we have in the cybersecurity space to be able to offer solutions for customers. Specifically on the endpoints, we have a partner ecosystem of 200 plus channel partners across India. And we help customers along with our partners with respect to pre-sales, technical, post-sales. Cybersecurity basically requires is not an off-the-shelf product per se, because the solutions and the challenges that are available are in the market today require a lot of perspective with respect to the needs of the customer, the needs of the customer environment. And these particular solutions would overlap in terms of features over each other. So we do try to minimize the number of dashboards that a customer would need. And more or less, most customers today look at looking at single dashboard solutions. So there is also a challenge with customers to be able to put in solutions or look at solutions which typically are multitasking from a single dashboard, but at the same time, at what length it can go to deliver that particular challenge is also a challenge by itself. So we have kind of taken three products today, which is Safetica, which is a DLP, 42 gears, which is an MDM solution, and Ekran, which is an UEBA solution. We have specifically spoken to Epact team on this particular thing. We have had discussions. This is something that is a very key requirement in the market. Like we were saying, that it is a hybrid environment over the period of last through the COVID times and post-COVID times, from being totally work from home to be able to work in an environment where it's hybrid. We are looking at, we understand that IT administrators and decision makers are having quite a bit of challenge to be able to adapt and put in solutions which are kind of flexible and elastic to the environment of the customer. So these three products today have been very specifically been chosen from our portfolio of products. So I would like to start with Safetica, which is a DLP product. So basically, Safetica is an enterprise DLP. This is a it's a Czech-based company. The focus of Safetica is it's a purely a DLP product. So there is no bifurcation with respect to going into an antivirus or does it support any other feature. The core product is basically DLP. So the advantage you get out of a product like Safetica is that it's almost a complete product from a perspective of a DLP in an enterprise environment. Because if we look at many other products are typically having basic features with respect to DLP, which probably are restricting DLP to just the hardware capability of DLP, or looking at multiple engines in the DLP, thereby degrading the performance and providing or having other challenges. So Safetica DLP focuses on the pure aspect of DLP on the endpoint. With respect to compliances, this product is GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS compliant, and lot many other certifications that this particular product has. And we have seen a lot of this adaptability and adoption of this product, particular DLP in the market, because of the large granular level features that it goes into in terms of DLP capability. So we talk about security from a perspective, and to security is not a single channel kind of an approach. It is a multi-pronged, multi-layer kind of an approach. And as in it is said that in aviation it is either 100% security or there is no security. and so is the case with the our devices on in the IT as well. So if you're looking at a DLP, the ideal way to be able to get a good DLP is to see how it covers most of the channels that it has, because users and different channels within the enterprise and within the network provide those kind of loopholes for users to be able to seep out or leak out sensitive data of an organization. Now, if you look at this particular slide, you can see that it is covering channels which are across the spectrum in terms of an ecosystem. So this could be file sharing and social media. It could be email. It could be internet on the browsers. Normally, you do have DLP for on the memory cards, on physical plugins that are happening, media operations, Firewire, Bluetooth technologies, instant media. You have it through email or OneDrive kind of an options. Now, these are all the channels. Now, Safetica has the capability to be able to integrate and to be able to restrict data leakage happening out of all of these channels from a single pane, single module, and from a single dashboard. So you don't have to look at different modules for different. We just look at it as a protection unit across the channels that a user might have access to. Now, how do we look at this particular product? So the as much as DLP is a complicated product, it could be an easy product to be able to implement, or let us say it is an easy product to install. It would require a lot of expertise to understand your environment to implement the right DLP, because a DLP to implement a DLP, basically what are the policies that you would want to set within an organization is what would make the best DLP. So policies across hierarchy, policies across groups, policies across applications. So it differs a lot. So the basic need is for an IT administrator or the management in an organization to be able to actually see how the data is moving within an organization. So DLP, with respect to DLP, if you are going to go and implement a very straightforward DLP policy which says that stop this, stop that, stop this, stop that, allow this. I mean, it doesn't work that way. Each user is going to be looking at different way he would be performing. A document which is not so sensitive to one user may be sensitive to another user, and vice versa. So the first aspect of the approach of Safetica is to be able to, first of all, to establish the DLP, is to be able to discover what is the environment of the customer, of your environment. So who are the users? How do the users behave internally within that particular environment? The applications and the applications with the network and with external um, platforms, the cloud platforms or any other shareable platforms that are there to be able to handle this data. Now, so the first thing that Safetica does is to be able to discover. So the discovery module is basically like a UEBA model, where basically there is an audit done over a period of time. So let us say about 15 to 20 days. So the tool basically discovers the different patterns and usages within the organization of users of applications and etc., and gives out a very comprehensive report with respect to the actual functionalities of data within an organization. Who has been using what? How are they using it? For how long have they been using it? Does it breach any of the policies within an organization? What is the legitimate use of a particular application by a particular user? Is it required for a user to be able to be on a certain application for a certain amount of time, or are they spending more time than is required? So these are the things which basically the audit gives very comprehensively over. It can be given over all users, or you could take a sampling of certain users within a network to be able to first identify and discover what is happening um, within that particular network. It also gives you, as an IT system and administrator, a good view in terms of what could be happening within the network, because most of the other times probably you're getting notifications or you're able to find out certain loopholes that are happening from a human perspective. The discovery module of Safetica gives you a very in-depth analysis of this particular activity, that all the activities that are happening with respect to data transfers through the users or applications within the organization. So once we move from discovery, so the initial part is to be able to discover, and that is basically to get an audit. Once the audit is extracted, we move into a part where the education happens. So for the audit gives out a report which enables the IT administrators and the management to be able to look at the data and then to be able to comprehensively come to understanding and take a call as to what are the policies now that you would want to set within an organization, depending on a user, a group, a team, a hierarchy within the organization. And each of these policies will vary from user to user, group to group, team to team, or across hierarchies. And the third aspect of this particular of a Safetica DLP would be to actually implement those policies in the right form and manner. If one way is to be able to do it as a policy that you would want to set up uh, as an organization from a compliance perspective, and secondly, from an audit perspective as to what are the things that we humanly are not able to see, but the audit basically gives us that intelligence to make those calls and then define a certain policy and implement that policy very well. I think the best DLP extractions are those where the policies are set well, where the policies are defined well, and then they are set well within an organization. That is where we see a lot of the best the best extraction coming from a good DLP solution. Yeah. So we have three additions with respect to Safetica. We have Safetica ONE Discovery, which is basically the initial audit tool which is required. So this is more like a UEBA where we're seeing a data flow security audit happening. It can be integrated with Office 365 and the email audit. We have the compliance audit that can be extracted out of it, the workspace audit that we can do. We also have the content inspection module that can be enabled, which allows you to see a lot of data in different forms from classify that as different types of data within the organization, and to be able to detect any kind of anomalies or detection of suspicious activities that would be happening within an organization. This is a purely uh, you know detection kind of a module. It's only going to be detecting it. It's going to be sniffing it and giving us an audit with respect to the happenings of what is happening within the environment. The next module is the Safetica ONE Protection, which is actually the DLP module, which comes with the audit module as well. So if you look at the left side, you will see that we see the endpoint. It is the endpoint data protection module, which does the aspects of email and network protection, device print protection, remote work protection, data classification. It does shadow copy. We can assign zones. It can do encryption, endpoint cloud sync protection, O365 protection, as well as Azure integration with Azure for protection, along with Exchange. And the third one is the Safetica ONE Enterprise, which basically consists of largely this particular module is so that you can integrate it with your SIEM, or if you are a FortiGate customer, you can do it with FortiGate, and also to be able to get certain additional APIs that you would reporting that you would want, where an API integration also can be done. So that is the advantage of enterprise, where you can integrate it with third-party security automation module. So some of the key benefits that we see here with respect to Safetica is that it can automate with third-party like we said, SIEM tools or any other tool, API-related tools that we have. It has integration with Active Directory. There are policies for workflow on company endpoints that can be done, and custom branding of user security notifications also can be done at a granular level. Which we said also that you can integrate with any SIM tool or management server or network security appliance, etc., like a FortiGate. These are some of the third-party integrations that we have across vendors. The likes of Fortinet, Sophos, Bolden James, ESET, FortiSem, SolarWinds, Avast, Symantec, Checkpoint. So if do you have any of these appliances within your organization? Yes, Safetica will be able to integrate it with those appliances for better reporting and extraction of more data that could be relevant in terms of a security perspective for your organization. So we also does one of the key points of this of this particular thing is to be able to integrate with Microsoft O365 with respect to SharePoint, OneDrive, data protection on the cloud. So I would like to bring in success here with respect to this particular slide, because there are some aspects with respect to Microsoft 365 which success also has. Success, if you can come in here on this particular feature of this particular integration with Microsoft 365.
Sure. Thanks, Prakash. So basically what we're trying to say here is that the integration with Microsoft 365 is to do more with, where the data resides. Now, if you see out here, we are talking about data that resides across SharePoint and OneDrive. So that means anything that you do, whatever you're storing online, okay? Earlier, when we used to talk about DLP within Office 365, it was restricted only to email. Now, as everybody knows that DLP today has to apply to all forms of data. Okay, it could be your file data, it could be your email data, and files, it could be stored not only with OneDrive, so that's your personal storage, but with SharePoint when we talk about company level shared storage. Okay, when we're working on tools like Microsoft Teams also, we have the integration goes directly into SharePoint. Okay, and we were, as you can see out here, so Safetica basically would offer you that protection, in case you're not using the same features available from within your Office 365 services. Right? Back to you, Prakash.
Thank you, Success. These are some of the reference customers for Safetica globally. You have some of the top name brands that are there, including McDonald's, Hyundai, Coca-Cola, Jabeltron, some of these known names that are there. To summarize, Safetica as a DLP, it is available for on-premise as well as cloud for Windows as well as Mac machines. Wide range of third-party integrations that we have in terms of data classification, etc. Also with SIM tools or other relevant network tools. You can look at the DLP inside a threat protection. So, compliance part is there, whether it's GDPR or PCI DSS. Yes, this tool has those kind of compliances available. The tool is pretty quick easy to deploy. Like I said, installation of this is quite easy. The implementation of this is purely dependent on the policies that an organization defines, and then is able to kind of deploy those policies according to the need of the organization. And in terms of hardware requirements, it's pretty low. So the next one that you're covering is mobile device management. Mobile device management, this is a product that is from 42 Gears. It's a make in India product. They are again very exclusive only to mobile device management. Like many of the organizations or MDM solutions today are about different particular products, and then there is MDM also, and as part of a larger solution, as part of this thing of mobile device management capability within that particular setup. 42 Gears, basically, their whole and core business is respect to mobile device management and unified endpoint management. Yeah. So 42 Gears as a company basically is well known both in the company-owned devices, COD environment, as well as in the BYOT environment. It is a SaaS-based offering that is there. Largely, it has been very, very popular in the COVID environment, because all of us know that with the remote happening, with a lot of tablets being sold, especially in the education, as well as remote access of devices that were required. Mobile device management was very, very popular for many of the OEM vendors during the COVID times. But the MDM has gone beyond just the management of mobile devices, which could be Android or iOS devices. Beyond the tablets, it has also now gone into whether it's Windows laptops or MacBooks, iOS devices, which you'll actually be looking at. So many devices beyond the realm of just the mobile and tablets. This is where MDM and MDM is gone now. Yeah. So as an organization, they're very large organization with respect to having customers. They have 80,000 plus customers across the globe. 115 countries, presence 115 countries, 5 million plus deployments across the globe with multiple offices. To give you just a glimpse, to give you a reference point, Byju's is an existing customer of 42 Gears in India. For even though Byju's is having a different form factor and way they are there in the market, but from an application deployment perspective, yes, they are using a mobile device management for customizing the tablets that are there on which their application Byju's applications running, and 42 Gears is the MDM that they are using. as a reference point for you. A lot of recognitions in the market. We can share these details with you. Yes, it is also recognized by Gartner in this particular space. One of the particular aspects is that it is a make in India product, so there is a lot of demand from public sector, government organizations, and the educational organizations in India to look at a particular product which is made out of India. One of the key aspects of it is that there's a lot of customization that you can use using 42 gears. So every environment, every application, different organizations are looking at it. So it's not just an off the shelf. It is an off the shelf product, but with respect to customizations, with respect to certain aspects that can be done, we can go back to 42 gears and ask them for those things. So that is one of the key features of 42 gears in the MDM aspect. Okay. So these are the, whether it is about Android devices, iOS, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, MacBooks, or just Chrome OS machines, Apple TV, Wear OS, VR, IoT platforms, rugged devices, wearables, printers. You can convert your normal displays into kiosk mode, whether it's just tablets or it could be screens, VR devices, IoT devices. So all of this is now manageable using a 42 gears client from a single dashboard. Yeah. So some of the key features on the SureMDM, it has support for Windows and Mac. Remote support is available. That means you can, through the dashboard, you can get access through to those devices that are enrolled or onboarded into your dashboard. Device enrollment can be done. So you have a zero-touch way of doing it. It can be done in a COSO method also in terms of device enrollment, or it where you use a Gmail ID to be able to enroll the device. Um, you have a single dashboard to be able to view different devices or different teams or different setups where you can have groupings, etc. from a single dashboard. It provides two-factor authentication for the administrator from a security perspective. There's a custom reporting tool available. So granular level of reportings are available with respect to the devices in terms of activity. Device location tracking is available. Device location tracking in terms of mobile devices and tablet devices which are carrying SIM cards would be very much different to what it would be with a laptop or a MacBook, because for a laptop or a MacBook, it has to be detected by an IP address vis-a-vis the GPS coordinates of a SIM card which is present on a mobile and a tablet. So it can be done, but it's two different possibilities or two different stretches to which it can be done. The accuracy for a mobile and a tablet would be much different with a SIM card would be much different than a device which is having an IP address. Kiosk mode, it can be done. So any device which can be a mobile, it could be a tablet, it could be any display device, can be with an operating system on it, can be converted into a kiosk with SureLock, which is one of the modules. You have SureFox, which is that means a device can only run with that particular browser, SureFox browser, and allow the user only to be able to have one browser on their display, and you can whitelist or blacklist the websites that are there on the content which is they're going to be accessing from that website. And Sure Video is again something like a digital signage kind of a thing where you can have your the same stream or different kind of streams coming in a round robin fashion on the screen on the display. Telecom management can be done. So what is the kind of usage, utility, different things can be done on the devices. Remote lock and wipe is something that has been very popular in the COVID times, also in the work from home environments where people are leaving the organization, etc., and the accessibility is not there for the device either to be there to come into the organization, etc. Single sign-on encryption using BitLocker. So 42 gears will ride on the BitLocker of Windows on that particular device to be able to encrypt the device. It doesn't have a encryption capability by itself, but it will use the Windows encryption on Bitdefender. MDM will support geofencing can be done, time and network fencing also can be done over the air distribution. That means sending across applications over the air, even that is possible. I think you have covered this, so you really have all the platforms which are here, including Linux that we have: Fedora, CentOS, SUSE, Linux, Mint, Ubuntu, Raspberry, and Red Hat. Wear OS we have again. So if you have any environment where you're looking to monitor these kind of devices, yes, please. 42 gears MDM would definitely be able to support it. Some of the differentiations is that it supports not only Android but also Windows, Mac, and Linux. So there's flavor support for all of these operating systems. Single pane of glass. So you can have different devices of different natures, but still looking from the same dashboard. You can have a kiosk lockdown or support options available. Enhanced device security is there with the encryption, etc. Multi-admin remote control, AI-powered chatbot, fencing capabilities available, real-time support. So 24/7 of support available from the vendor and also from a distributor and the partners that we have. So in this case, it will be Epact. And the customization, like I said, in terms of 42 years MDM, there is a possibility to be able to customize even in terms of an MDM environment. And we will have to see the scope of customization that is required. And then 42 years team can work on the customization aspect. Yeah. So, like I said, Byju's is one of the existing customers for 42 years in India. You have Switchy, you have Tata Motors, you have Godrej, Indigo, Distillery, MRF, Delivery, Flipkart. So, I mean, quite a good logos or customer references that you have here, and they are large volume customers. Yeah, these are again some of the customers that we have here. Global customers, including the likes of Siemens, Canon, Unilever, UNICEF, Didi, AT&T. So the first product that we did was DLP, that is basically prevention and protection. The second one we did was MDM, which is basically management, to be able to reach out and to be able to kind of work with devices from a remote. The third one which we are doing is about monitoring. So these are the three different aspects of it: the prevention, management, and third one is we are talking about is the monitoring part of it. So the expectation is from a UEBA is to be able to, let us put the expectation perspective is that it can only monitor and to be able to do certain aspects of what an end user is able to do. It's not going to be able to prevent a user from being able to do something which is not authorized to be done by the organization. So from a UBA perspective, it basically is more works as a reporting tool to the organization and also works as a kind of a deterrent to the end user to be able, knowing that there would be a tool which is basically monitoring the activities, and that itself works as a deterrent, which is itself in itself a kind of a prevention mechanism. But if the user chooses to go to be able to do something, the application does not have the capability to be able to stop that, as in case of a DLP. This product is called Ekran. It has been established in the year 2013. It's based in the US. Working with a lot of Fortune 500 companies across the globe. Basically, what the product was do is be able to monitor all user activities. It will kind of report all internal incidents, anything that is flagged or highlighted in terms of a policy, and we also give privileged access management from the insider threat protection. It meets all of the compliances with respect to HIPAA, PCI DSS, ISO 27001. A lot of audits that is required. This particular tool is looked at from a perspective of being having adherence to those kind of audits or certifications within an organization, compliance audits. So the product does session recording. So we can actually have a video recording footage of all the activity that happens. There is an advanced monitoring format which is available. There is a real-time monitoring tool that is available. You can have USB monitoring and control in the sense that you could actually whitelist or blacklist or whitelist or block USB devices on certain machines or specific machines. And the product basically has it is a server client kind of a mechanism. So the client is protected on the endpoint. So there is no kind of sabotage that can happen, or they could unplug or uninstall it or anything like that. That would not be possible. So that client protection and offline monitoring. That means the endpoint does not have to be connected to the server. So if there's no internet, this policy will still continue. And whatever policies have been said, that defined policies will still continue to work. As and when it gets access to the server via the internet, the data will get logged back or synced to the particular server, to the Ekran server, for the purposes of getting those logs and data back. So it does give us session recording, record on-screen activity in video format, It can be indexed by text metadata. It provides Citrix and Windows activity monitoring on servers, on workstations, local RDP terminal sessions. It also provides in terms of Unix environment with telnet SSH recording for Linux Unix servers. In the advanced monitoring format, it provides you the will give you the names of the active applications. Will give you a pictorial picture of what we are saying. Titles of the active windows, the websites that have been accessed, the keystroke types, command and scripts that have been executed, devices connected with that particular device to that asset, etc. Multi-layer text indexing also provides the videos in a searchable format. So you can it's easier in terms of sessions, in terms of applications, etc. So, like I was saying, it not only records the user session, but also monitors user activities in real time. So while the session can be on, there could also be different applications or different activities that can be happening on the same system. So it is possible to set a policy to be able to kind of monitor even a specific activity that a user is actually doing. So it could be jobs, it could be a certain task that the user is supposed to be doing on that particular system, and it can be tracked and tracked separately also from a normal user session that would be happening. There are available templates available in terms of alerts available in a template library, so you can use over the last period of 12-13 years there have been a lot of these alerts that have been there. So you don't need to create something really from the scratch. You could use any of those templates available within the system. And for most critical assets, if you just want to go to it, a shutdown on that, the session shall be still running. You can block the users in a single click to be able to kind of terminate the session. So USB monitoring, you can track the device connections. You can configure it to notify your security team about it when those devices are connected or any other devices connected without the authentication. You can allow block devices. You can blacklist, whitelist. You can also set up a manual USB device approval for critical scenarios. So no, they will have to take access or approval from the admin if it is required to be able to do that. Yeah, so this part I've already covered, the client protection part of it. So even if the client is installed on the endpoint, they would not have the capability or access to be able to uninstall the Ekran client, which is monitoring the particular endpoint. And it works in offline mode. There is no dependency for it on internet or to be connected to the server at all times. From a perspective of storage, Ekran system requires in 2 TB storage to be able to record the video sessions for 100 users for 6 months. Just to give you like a capability of in terms of how much of storage is required. So 100 users, 6 months, you will require about 2 TB of storage. And endpoints, utilization is pretty low. Yeah. So these are some of the global customers: Deloitte, Ferrero, UPS, Renfe, BBVA, some of the known logos or organizations that you could relate to. I would like to thank this Prakash here. I would like to thank everyone for this coming in for this session, for giving your time. We're very hopeful that in case of any opportunities or requirements that you'd be having, or you're considering at this point in time or near future, and you would like any kind of technical queries that would want to be answered, please do feel free to Epact team, and then we would come back to you on this. So thank you for the session, Epact team, also to the whole team, Success and team, and to all of you, to each and every one of you who have joined the session.